Hello and welcome to this session. In today's session, we are going to understand how to create and manage custom objects. Now, before we do that, let us understand why we require custom objects. Now, let us take an example. Let's assume that I need to maintain a list of product names. Now, how do I do that? The simplest and the best way to do it is to maintain an array list of type string, and in that array list, I can maintain the names of the products. Now, this list does not have any limits. I can maintain 30, 100, as many number of items that I want to, or the product names that I want to manage. Now, the challenge comes when, apart from the product name for a particular product, I also want to manage probably a product code, a product barcode, and some other information. Now, how do we achieve that? One way of doing that is to create multiple array lists of type string, one for product name, one for product code, the third for product barcode, and so on. But this particular method has its own challenges. The challenge would be with respect to maintaining all these different array lists in sync, because if the indexes go haywire, then one product name and the product code and the product barcode may not be in sync, and this is obviously going to complicate the code, and it is not a good way of handling this particular situation. So what we should use is something called a custom object. Now, how do we do that? Let's understand it now. The first thing that I have done is, inside my project I have created in the source folder, I have created a different folder called com.zing.basket.util. This is the folder where I'm going to keep all my custom objects and all supporting code. And here I have put the code called product.java, which is nothing but a custom class with that object definition. Now this is the code for the product object. Now as you can see in this particular object, these are all the different product parameters that I'm going to maintain. And this product will become my custom object. So what we can do is, later on, instead of defining array list of type string, what I would do is I would define array list of type product. So what will happen is that all the information of a particular product can be accessed through any one index of that particular array list. But obviously we need a method to then, once we have identified that particular product, if I want to know that product barcode, I need a method to be able to read that particular product barcode. Now if you have to give an example, let's assume that I am maintaining 10 product records. So what will happen is that the array list of type product will have 10 items. The indexes will be 0 to 9. Now let's assume that I want to know the details of the fifth item in that particular list. So what I will do is I will go to that array list of index 4, and that will give me all the particular details of the product. Now if I just want to know the barcode of that particular product which is at index 4, how do I do that? Now to do that, we need to define the methods which will help us either save the particular barcode in that against that particular product, or later on read that particular barcode for that particular product. Now if you look at it, this is how we are going to do it. First thing is that we define the different the different parameters which are there for the product. The next thing is that we need two functions or two methods. One is to set the product name, and the next one is to get the product name which is already saved. Now if you look at this, what we are doing is that if in the calling class we call this method set.productName, what it is going to do is that it is going to take the product name which was passed as a parameter and assign it to this particular instance of the object's product name. So in this way we can save the product name in this particular object instance that we have created. Similarly, if you have to get the product name, what we are doing is, if the particular object is called with a get product name method, then what will be returned is basically the product name which is saved in that particular object instance. Similarly, what we need to do is that for all the other parameters which are there for the particular product, we need to create two methods. One is to set the particular parameter and the other would be to get the particular parameter. And the function is very similar to what we just went through here. It is just that I'm going to change the names of the fields and I'm going to create a set method and a get method, and in the set method whatever is the parameter which was passed to this particular method is assigned to the that object instance particular field, and in the get method I am just returning whatever is saved in that particular object's field. Now notice that in this particular case all the fields are string. Now if in this case if the barcode I changed it from a string to an int, then I have to make corresponding changes for this as well in the parameters here, which is against the barcode. So I come here. Now you notice that here the parameter which was passed to this function is string. Instead it should be int, because I should pass an integer only to this particular method, and here that's okay. Now again when I'm returning this is the return type. So the get product code when it is returning cannot be of type string because this particular field is an integer. So what I will do is I can change this to int and that will resolve it. So here I can define any object type that I want. It can be a float, it can be a string, it can be an integer, and similarly I'll have to make the changes here to access that particular parameter or to return that parameter or to save that particular parameter. Now this particular concept is going to be very useful as we go ahead because it will be used extensively, because it's a very handy way of managing multiple parameters with respect to one particular data element. So for products I need to manage say 10 parameters. So in the next tutorial we will understand how to use this particular custom object that we have just created. If you like this session, please do not forget to press the like button. Also to subscribe to get access to more such informative videos. Thank you.